They looked at you twice. Twice they thought they had the answers. Twice they believed they held the power. But every time the truth slipped through their fingers, and it burned them. It scared them more than anything you could ever do. Lies? Oh, they embrace lies. They sleep in lies. But the truth wakes monsters. The truth laughs in their faces while they tremble, desperate to hide from what they cannot control. And you've been walking in plain sight, smiling while they crumble around you. Truth terrifies more than lies. Oh, they love their lies, don't they? They wrap themselves up in them like a warm blanket on a cold night, thinking it will keep them safe. Lies are soft, predictable, and controllable. You can shape them, mold them, polish them until they shine just enough to fool the eyes of those too weak to look deeper. But truth is raw. Truth doesn't care about your comfort, your rules, or your little fantasies of control. It comes crashing in, tearing apart the illusions you've built around yourself, exposing the naked chaos that lurks beneath. And the thing is, people don't run from lies, they embrace them. Lies lull them, they cradle them, they feed them the stories they want to hear. Lies are their lullaby, their escape from reality. And oh, how sweet that escape tastes until reality barges in like a screaming storm. Truth doesn't whisper, it shouts. It rips, it shakes. It laughs at your carefully constructed little world. They hate it. They fear it. That's why when truth shows its face, even the strongest, most confident ones falter. Even the ones who think they have eyes to see and brains to understand. They stumble. Truth is merciless. Truth doesn't wait for permission. Truth doesn't knock. It crashes through the walls they've built, and there's nothing they can do to stop it. They can hide behind rules, behind authority, behind history, behind words. But truth sees through it all. It doesn't care about politics, status, or charm. It simply is. And that's why it's so terrifying, because it strips everything bare. No masks, no excuses, no polite nods to comfort. Just the raw, glaring reality staring back at them. And suddenly, the cozy lies they clung to feel like shackles, like chains they didn't even know were there, until the weight of reality smashes down on them. They panic. They squirm. They try to twist, to turn, to manipulate, to deny, but truth isn't negotiable. It doesn't bend, it doesn't compromise, it doesn't sleep. It's awake when they're dreaming. It's laughing when they're crying. And oh, how beautifully it exposes the cracks in their armor, the holes in their reasoning, the cowardice they thought hidden. People fear truth because it forces them to look at themselves, and most of them aren't ready for that. They'd rather dance in lies, drink the sweet poison, and pretend the chaos doesn't exist. But the moment truth steps into the room, the act falls apart. Eyes widen, hands shake, minds race, hearts pound. They weren't prepared, they weren't equipped, they weren't brave enough, and they feel the fear seep in like poison, consuming everything comfortable, everything safe. Lies, on the other hand, lull them into false courage, into a sense of security. Lies are polite. Lies are polite monsters in the corner, easily ignored, easily tamed. Truth is the monster that sits in the middle of the room, glaring, daring them to look away, daring them to run, daring them to deny what they see. And when they can't, when the panic takes hold, they turn to anything to distract themselves, anything to escape the unbearable sight of reality that doesn't care about their feelings. And you, standing in the eye of the storm, watching it all unfold, you feel the intoxicating power of truth, the way it slices through pretense, the way it leaves them exposed, vulnerable, quivering. They were ready for lies. They were comfortable in lies. But truth has no mercy, and that is why it terrifies more than anything else they've ever known. People fear what they can't control.
Oh, it's the sweetest terror, isn't it?
The idea that something exists outside of their grasp, that they aren't the masters of every moment, every heartbeat, every glance in the room. They sit behind their little walls, their schedules, their rules, thinking they have the world in the palm of their hands. But the moment something slips through their fingers, their carefully crafted reality starts to crumble. And that's where fear lives. Fear doesn't dwell in the obvious. It hides in the invisible threads, the silent truths, the things that move when they aren't looking. They can control the surface, they can paint over cracks, they can nod politely and smile while pretending to understand, but underneath, chaos waits, laughing, whispering that nothing is really theirs. And when they sense it, that prickling awareness that there's a force beyond their authority, their cleverness, their manipulation, their blood runs cold. It's intoxicating watching them stumble, watching them fight to reclaim control they've never really had. They try to grab, to pull, to twist reality to fit their comfort zone. But the harder they fight, the more truth mocks them, the more reality smirks in the shadows, the more the chaos grows. People fear what they can't control, because it forces them to acknowledge their own fragility, their own limits. The fact that they are not the center of the universe, they've convinced themselves they are. And oh, how beautifully ironic that the more they struggle, the tighter they cling, the more obvious their weakness becomes. They make rules, they write laws, they build hierarchies, they create systems, thinking each brick will keep the uncontrollable at bay, and yet, all it does is create a cage they themselves will eventually suffocate in. The moment control slips away, even slightly, panic sets in. They shout orders, wave hands accuse, manipulate, anything to reclaim it, anything to feel safe in the illusion that they are in charge. But control is a joke, a fleeting shadow that dances just beyond reach. And when they realize the joke is on them, when the threads they thought they held unravel in their trembling fingers, fear consumes them. Fear is not loud, it's subtle. It whispers at night. It lingers in glances. It curls around their hearts, tightening with every moment. They can't bend the world to their will. And the beautiful part is that chaos, unpredictability, reality itself, it doesn't care about their screams, their attempts, their manipulations. It moves on its own terms, untouchable, untamed, and untiring. And you, standing outside of their panic, watching them scramble for something that doesn't exist, you feel it, don't you? That electric thrill of freedom they can't comprehend. They fear it because it's alien to them, because they are conditioned to believe everything must be ordered, everything must be predictable, everything must submit to their hands. They fear it because control is their comfort, control is their identity. Control is the lie they tell themselves so convincingly that they almost believe it. And when they encounter the uncontrollable, when it slips through the cracks, when it laughs and dances and refuses to obey, they don't just feel fear, they feel powerless. And powerlessness is delicious, isn't it? It spreads like ink through their veins, filling every thought, every glance, every heartbeat with the sweet horror of knowing that something exists that they cannot manipulate, cannot dominate, cannot own. And in that moment, when they realize the joke isn't just on them, but that they've been laughing along to it without knowing, fear blossoms, grows, consumes, until all that's left is the realization that control was never theirs, never real, and never safe. Investigation reveals hidden power. Oh, they love to dig, don't they? They think poking around, asking questions, flipping stones, will bring them answers, will bring them dominance, will bring them the comfort of knowing everything. They believe investigation is a tool they wield, a scalpel in their hands, slicing through lies, dissecting chaos, cutting away the parts they don't understand. But the beautiful irony, the exquisite, cruel irony, is that the deeper they dig, the more power they unknowingly uncover in others, the more they expose themselves to forces they can't grasp, forces that aren't meant to bend to their will. They think it's about control, about knowledge, about having the upper hand. But investigation is a mirror, reflecting the strength of those who don't fear it, the cunning of those who thrive under scrutiny, the fire in those who are untouchable, because they've mastered themselves. Every question they ask, every fact they chase, every tiny thread they tug, only tightens the web around them, only reveals how fragile their empire of illusions really is. And oh, how delicious it is to watch. They think they are hunters, prowling, seeking, exposing, but what they don't realize is that they are also the prey, stumbling into a maze built by those who smile while the walls close in. Investigation forces truth to rise, and truth carries with it a kind of power they can't predict. It whispers, it stares, it waits, and those who embrace it, those who survive it, those who harness it, they hold something priceless. And it's not just the knowledge, not the secrets, not the hidden facts. It's the understanding that their power is derived not from manipulation, not from pretense, not from rules or authority, but from seeing through the chaos, from standing unshaken while the world trembles around them. Investigation shines a light where they hope darkness will remain, and in that light things awaken. The hidden strengths, the silent strategies, the quiet resilience, they all emerge, dancing in plain sight while the seekers of control panic and stumble. And the more they dig, the more they demand answers, the more they try to twist, the stronger those who are investigated become. It's almost poetic, really, the way fear and curiosity collide, the way ambition meets its own limitations. They don't see it at first. They only see the surface, the shiny facts, the apparent vulnerabilities. But beneath it, under the veneer of questions and probes, lies something they cannot touch: the calm, the clarity, the unshakable center of someone who knows themselves too well to be rattled. They believe investigation is a weapon, a means to fracture, to dominate, to destroy. But it is also a revelation, a lens that exposes their own weaknesses while illuminating the quiet mastery of others. And there is such power in that realization, such intoxicating delight in watching them grasp, strain, and fail to comprehend that the game is already lost before they even set the board. Every attempt to pry, every desperate question, every frantic search only strengthens the very thing they fear, the very force they hope to bend. And you, standing in the eye of their chaos, watching them scramble, watching them sweat, watching them fumble as they confront truths they cannot control, feel it coursing through your veins. The thrill of hidden power revealed, the rush of knowing that the real strength lies not in hiding, not in fleeing, not in lying, but in enduring, in observing, in laughing softly as they realize their investigation has made you invincible, made you untouchable, made you the one who always holds the cards, even as they pretend to shuffle the deck. Lies are comfortable, truth is chaos. Oh, how they cling to lies, don't they? They wrap themselves up in them like fragile little cocoons, thinking the world outside will never touch them, never break them, never expose them. Lies are soft. Lies are warm. Lies are predictable. They let them sleep at night. They let them strut through their days. They let them nod and smile and pretend everything is under control. Lies are polite monsters hiding in the corner, easily ignored, easily tamed, easily fed with the little scraps of convenience that make life bearable. But truth is the storm. Truth doesn't knock politely at the door. It barges in, shattering glass, tearing curtains, laughing as the fragile illusions collapse around them. And oh, they hate it. They tremble at the sound, at the sight, at the raw force that doesn't care about their comfort. Lies are friends. Truth is the enemy that doesn't need a reason to exist. Lies are a lullaby. Truth is the screaming alarm that shakes the very foundations of their carefully curated little worlds. They can try to decorate it, polish it, spin it into something they can tolerate, but truth resists every form, every color, every mask. Truth simply is, and it demands attention, it demands confrontation, it demands chaos. They fear it because it strips them bare, lays them open, exposes the cracks, the flaws, the cowardice they try so desperately to hide from even themselves. Lies let them pretend they are in control, let them pretend they are clever, let them pretend that nothing outside their reach could ever touch them. But truth doesn't ask for permission. It doesn't care for their comfort, their rules, their fragile egos. It dances across their reality with sharp teeth and cruel eyes, mocking every effort to confine it, every attempt to tidy it, every whisper of denial they cling to in trembling desperation. And the beauty of it, the delicious cruelty, is that lies make them soft, comfortable, complacent, while truth awakens something in the shadows, something that stirs, something that cannot be ignored. They will run, they will squirm, they will beg. They will lie again to themselves. But the chaos has already entered, creeping like ink, spreading like fire, consuming the neat little order they thought protected them. Lies are a cushion, a gentle buffer from the reality they fear. Truth is a mirror, a magnifying lens, a relentless observer that stares and waits and watches them flinch. They fear it because it is alive. It is breathing. It moves when they cannot move it. It twists when they cannot twist it. It grows louder when they hope to silence it. It grows sharper when they hope to dull it. It grows stronger when they hope to weaken it. Lies are easy. Truth is a wild, untamed, beautiful nightmare that demands they see, demands they feel, demands they confront the parts of themselves they would rather forget. And oh, the irony, they fight lies. They create lies, they worship lies, yet it is always the truth, the chaotic, untamable, unrelenting truth that holds the power, that awakens fear, that dominates the mind, that controls the dance even when they think they lead. Lies lull, lies soothe, lies pretend. Truth rips, tears, shakes, laughs, whispers secrets, exposes weakness, and burns the comfortable illusions they've built like kindling in a bonfire that they can neither stop nor escape. Strength lies in surviving scrutiny. Oh, how they love to watch, to poke, to prod, thinking they can unravel you, thinking they can see the pieces and guess the picture. They line up like hungry wolves, eyes wide, teeth bared, convinced that their gaze alone can fracture the armor you've spent years forging. But here's the delicious irony. They are blind to the truth. They think observation weakens, but it is the fire that tempers. Every glance, every whisper, every accusation only polishes the steel, only hammers the edges sharper, only strengthens the pulse beneath the skin that refuses to break. They believe scrutiny is a weapon aimed at you, but it is really a mirror reflecting their own insecurities, their own hunger for control, their own inability to endure the raw clarity of what stands before them. And oh, how intoxicating it is to watch them strain, to watch them falter, to watch their eyes widen as they realize the more they pry, the more you endure, the stronger you become. Scrutiny is a trial, a fire they think they light to burn you, yet in reality it illuminates the very essence they cannot reach, the calm center of someone untouchable by panic, untouchable by fear, untouchable by their little games of observation. They ask questions, they judge actions, they dissect motives, thinking each layer peeled back reveals weakness. But every layer they peel is proof of resilience, a testament to control over chaos, a quiet laugh in the face of their trembling hands. They think they see all, but their eyes are shallow pools, reflections of their own doubt, while the deep waters they cannot touch hide currents of strength they can't comprehend. And the more they search, the more they expose themselves, the more their hunger for answers betrays the fragility they wish they could deny. Every accusation, every glance, every subtle probe is fuel for your power, a reminder that surviving scrutiny is not about hiding. It's about thriving in the light, about smiling when they hope to see flinch, about standing unbroken while the world trembles in anticipation of your collapse. Strength lies not in avoiding observation, not in running from it, not in masking it with lies or distractions, but in standing firm while they scramble, while they panic, while they crumble under the weight of their own expectations. And isn't that a delicious joke, that those who think they hunt are often the ones who falter, while the one under inspection grows, expands, solidifies into something untouchable, undeniable, unstoppable. Scrutiny is a dance, and oh, how you lead it when you refuse to bow, when you refuse to tremble, when you embrace every question, every doubt, every judgment as fuel, as sharpening stone, as proof that weakness is theirs and strength is yours. They think it's about what they see, but it's never about the surface. It's about the fire that refuses to die, the calm that defies panic, the chaos that they cannot bend. And in enduring, in surviving, in smiling while every eye tries to find a crack, you become more than their scrutiny, more than their fears, more than the sum of their attempts to fracture you. Strength is quiet, unseen, unyielding. It grows in the moments of observation, in the harsh light of attention, in the endless pressure of their attempts to break what cannot be broken, And every glance, every judgment, every probing question only feeds the unstoppable force that stands still while they stumble, only feeds the unshakable calm while they panic, only feeds the unstoppable power that comes from surviving scrutiny again and again, proving that the true strength lies not in avoiding the storm, but in dancing in it, smiling as it rages, and watching them unravel while you endure with a heart that cannot be touched, a mind that cannot be bent, and a presence that refuses to yield to their desperate, trembling eyes. Fear exposes weakness. Oh, it's a delicious thing to watch, isn't it? The way it crawls into their chest like a parasite, settling in their veins, curling around their thoughts, whispering doubts that they try desperately to smother. Fear is patient. Fear is subtle. Fear doesn't rush in with a scream. It slips through cracks. It creeps into their mind when they least expect it. It smiles quietly as their composure unravels. And when it takes hold, oh, the beauty of it, every little flaw, every hidden insecurity, every fragile assumption bubbles to the surface like poison breaking through calm waters. They think strength is in appearances, in masks, in the bravado they wear like armor. But fear laughs at armor. Fear pokes holes, cracks seams, gnaws at the edges until even the strongest masks start to crumble. And the more they try to deny it, the more obvious it becomes, the more deliciously transparent their weakness stands before anyone willing to see. People hide fear, they disguise it. They tell themselves lies to convince the world, and themselves, that nothing can shake them. But fear doesn't care about lies. It doesn't respect denials. It doesn't negotiate. It infiltrates quietly, persistently, relentlessly, until all that's left is the raw truth of who they really are, trembling, uncertain, exposed. And oh, how intoxicating it is to witness. They think panic is private, that trembling thoughts are locked behind closed doors, but fear has a voice, a presence, a way of leaking through the cracks of their poise, a way of turning every glance, every action, every hesitation into a sign that chaos has found its mark. They clutch at control, at reason, at order, hoping to smother it, hoping to convince themselves that their world is safe, that they are untouchable. But fear laughs, fear dances. Fear is an uninvited guest who refuses to leave, who stays until the cracks are too wide to hide, until the illusions they have built collapse like a house of cards in a storm. And isn't it beautiful how revealing it is? How every flinch, every twitch, every falter becomes a window into their true selves, a mirror reflecting fragility they can no longer deny. Fear exposes weakness not by force but by patience, by persistence, by the quiet pressure of reality pressing against their carefully constructed lies, by the invisible hand that shakes the table while they cling to the illusion of safety. They try to cover it, try to disguise it, try to laugh it away. But fear is relentless, subtle, cunning. It doesn't need to scream. Its mere presence is enough to bend the strongest, to crack the hardest, to leave them raw, trembling, desperate for an escape that doesn't exist. And the most exquisite part is that it reveals not just physical or superficial weakness, but the deeper cracks, the insecurities, the doubts, the silent terrors that gnaw at their minds when no one else is watching. Fear turns their confidence into fragility, their certainty into hesitation, their strength into desperation, and every moment of exposure only deepens the truth they wish they could bury. They think fear is a weakness to be hidden, but the moment it blooms, it lays everything bare. And watching it unfold, watching them squirm, watching the mask slip, the eyes widen, the hands tremble, is a kind of art, a cruel symphony of chaos that exposes the very essence of what they fear most, the reality that they are never truly in control, that their comfort is fragile, that their bravado is only skin deep, and that fear patient, cunning, relentless fear has already claimed them long before they even realize it. Smiling while they crumble is power. Oh, the exquisite thrill of it. The way chaos unfolds around them, the way their carefully built walls collapse, the way their confident steps falter into desperation, and all you do is smile. Not a fake smile, not a polite nod, but a smile that tastes of knowing, of quiet victory, of the kind of madness that dances just beneath the skin, waiting for the perfect moment to rise. They scramble. They shout, they grasp for control, trying to reclaim the world they think is slipping from their fingers. And yet, every move they make only feeds your amusement. Smiling while they crumble is a declaration, an unspoken truth, that the storm they fear most has already passed through them, leaving nothing but their exposed fragility behind. Every glance of panic, every twitch of hesitation, every desperate attempt to mask their fear is a brushstroke in a masterpiece they can never comprehend, a pattern they cannot control, a dance choreographed by chaos itself and performed to perfection by your unshakable calm. And the beauty of it is that they never see it coming. They think they are hunters, prowling, predatory, clever, armed with knowledge, strategy, authority, but they fail to notice the one thing they can never anticipate: your stillness, your clarity, your embrace of the madness swirling all around them. They fight. They resist. They manipulate, thinking power is theirs to wield, thinking they can shape reality to their comfort. And yet the harder they try, the more spectacularly they fail, the more delicious the scene becomes. Smiling while they crumble is more than amusement. It is the raw recognition of a truth they fear, that strength is not in bending to panic, that mastery is not in reacting, that the real game is not played on their terms. It is in standing unmoved, while the world frays at the edges, in savoring the collapse without touching it, in letting chaos unfold like a firework in slow motion, while your calm becomes the center of a storm that devours everything they thought solid. And they crumble because they cannot see the pattern, they cannot understand the logic, they cannot grasp that your smile is not weakness, not arrogance, not foolishness. It is awareness. It is the knowledge that nothing they do can unsate what you have already built within, that no amount of scrutiny, no wave of panic, no force of their desperation can pierce the quiet power that comes from seeing clearly, from embracing the truth, from standing still when everything else screams to move. And oh, it is intoxicating, the way fear twists their expressions, the way desperation colors every word, the way every attempt to assert control falls flat, leaving them exposed, raw, and utterly powerless while you remain untouched, observing, calculating, smiling. They expect chaos to break you, to unravel you, to scatter you into pieces they can consume, and yet the reverse is true. The storm feeds you, the crumbling around you strengthens you, the panic of others becomes your symphony, and every flinch, every falter, every trembling glance is a note in a composition only you can hear fully, only you can conduct, only you can savor with that knowing, quiet, unyielding smile. Smiling while they crumble is more than control. It is dominance without force. It is victory without striking. It is power born not from brute strength, not from manipulation, not from chaos imposed, but from the calm embrace of everything falling apart around you, from watching it, tasting it, knowing it, and letting it unfold exactly as it must while they realize, far too late, that the real game was never theirs to play, and that the one who smiles is already untouchable, untamed, unstoppable.